everyone, welcome back to Pouring Takes. I'm Charlie Van.
And I am Rhea. Be sure to check out our website, pouringtakes.com. You'll get access to our YouTube, our Instagram page, join our Discord server, engage with us so we know what to drink during the Cowboys playoff run. Because Charlie, let me tell you, that anxiety is already kicking in.
Well, speaking of the Cowboys, how about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? Here we go.
Here we go. NFC East champions, or I would say division champions. Again, it's been about 2 years since we were able to say that, but we were able to get it done in the end. Now we're the number 2 seed. How are you feeling, Rhea?
I feel great, but did you even see this coming? Like the way that Philly had such a hot start and such like a chokehold on the division, and they took that first game from us. And even when we beat them in the second game, did you still feel like we were going to swoop in last second and take it away from them? Or did they collapse?
They definitely collapsed. I mean, there was that roller coaster going into December. We definitely looked the hotter team. You know, they seemed to unravel, but there was always the way their schedule, especially with our schedule, the way that devastating loss to the Bills, even with Miami, it's like, but just watching them unravel and watching even in that Lions game how we arose to the occasion, and even now I'm excited. By the way, what are we drinking?
What are we drinking? Why did you bring me Miller Lite, the official beer of the Dallas Cowboys, might I add?
Well, one, because it is the official beer. 2, it does come from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we're about to play the Green Bay Packers, who are not in Milwaukee, but they are in Green Bay.
Did a certain friend of ours tell you to get us this beer?
We'll give that friend a shout out, Mr. Rob Smith.
From Milwaukee, right?
Yeah, so he is a huge Packers fan. So is our friend Topher.
Wait, weren't you with us at Hero that one time he actually wore a cheese head to the bar?
I wasn't, but you tell it all the time. And Rob, I must see this cheese head. Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch the game with you. Well, you'll be in Mexico, right?
I'll be flying back. I actually land right when the game starts. So I'm probably going to go from airport to bar.
Yeah.
And make my poor fiance suffer through this game with me.
I was going to say, because I'll be at the game on Sunday, but it would have been funny to see Rob if he can bring out that cheese head.
Oh, he will. Just text him. He'll send you a picture. He is shameless with that thing. When we were at Hero watching a Packers-Cowboys game, and it was a regular season game, people were coming up to him being like, can I take a picture with you with your cheese head? Rob is just Rob. Why are you coming up to him and asking him for a picture?
Rob is just Rob, but I think Rob liked it.
He loves attention.
Yes, he is that attention guy. But excited, we're here number 2 seed. So since that, we're gonna start off with a little victory.
We owe you guys a victory shot. We said in the last episode that if the Cowboys beat the Commanders, we would do a shot on air. So here we go.
Now,
see what I did there?
Here you go. That's a double shot for you.
Hey.
As you can see, we got Mr. Jameson here, a big Jameson. That was my Christmas gift. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Mama and Papa Van.
Here we go. So, do you want the green? Do you want the purple?
I don't care.
Here.
They're all the same size.
Green for Green Bay. So, one for you, one for me, and then we're going to give one to our very nice producer over here, Mr. Tanner Hux. And here you go, Tanner. You can enjoy this.
Okay, cheers to a Cowboys victory.
To a Cowboys victory.
Champs, and on to the next one. On to the next big cheese.
Heck yeah. Ooh.
All right, let's be brief with this one. Let's jump into the game against Washington before we talk about the playoffs. I saw a couple of things that were great and some things that were not so great. And one of the things that was not so great was I missed my shot take.
Yes, you did.
And you got yours.
Yeah, I did. So I don't have to take another shot. I had Brandon Cooks, CeeDee Lamb touchdown. I almost did. I was like, is it going to come? But it's almost, to be honest, that was a pretty straightforward take because the way we've utilized Cooks now.
You played it so safe.
Yeah.
And I was a little risky. And what was really funny is when I was watching the game, I kept shaking my head, face palming, being like, why did I say 3 interceptions? I should have said 3 turnovers because that defense and special teams really pulled their weight on Sunday.
Yeah.
And we needed them to with that slow start. You can go ahead and pour the shot though.
All right. I've been waiting for this.
You've been waiting for this.
Well, you are more of the risk taker in our friendship here.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, you lived your life. You skydived.
I have never skydived.
I thought you skydived.
No.
Maybe you
I've done
budget.
like a vertical zip line.
Maybe
I
that
jumped off
was
the
it.
side of the stratosphere in Vegas.
That's what it was. It was, well, that's still, I did not do that. I had second thoughts. Like I said, you're more risk taker.
And I like roller coasters,
Okay, there you go.
parasailing, jet skiing.
You know, fighting crime.
If I could, I would. If the situation presented itself like it did on that Spirit flight that I was on one time, and I may or may not have intervened,
Yeah.
then yeah, I would love to fight crime.
That's a lot of Spirit flights, though.
yeah.
So, but let's talk about a fight. The fight that the Cowboys did.
Cheers.
Cheers.
by
There
the
you
way,
go. Chug a luck.
to the end of my day.
There you go. Well, hey, you're just preparing for your trip. So, the fight that the Cowboys put on, obviously it started a little rocky. And there were moments I felt too where the defense was a little bit soft. But when they were able to really like put it together, it was just like they left off back in November, Thanksgiving against this team.
Yeah, the defense really showed out, especially with Dak turning the ball over early. You had the blocked field goal, which,
But then you had a great block punt by Sam Williams, who got that one back after
it
that
wasn't
Bills.
Sam Williams. It was
Sam Wil-
Hendershot.
No. Was it Henderson?
Yes.
Oh, on the block punt?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember being like, oh my God, it's Hendershot, number 89.
Well, Sam Williams did have a big a moment too. I remember seeing it because I was telling my dad, I was like, he's redeeming himself. And if you heard Barker, we're at this beautiful lounge up here at
Yeah, we're in
Reyes
the Sky
Place.
Lounge at
As
the
you can-
Katy and Victory
You
Park.
can see the nice little sky background here in the Dallas. But anyways, made big plays, you know. But I feel for Aubrey there. You know, missed his perfect like NFL
And that first
record.
one wasn't even his fault.
No.
That was purely on the coverage. And when they made the replay, it sucked to see like somebody really messed up. And it's so rare to see someone on special teams mess up like that. And then was he rattled during the second one? Did he just say, you know what, F this, I just want to get through this game and be on to the next one? Like, what happened?
Well, also you got to factor in. I don't know how the wind chill was there, like how heavy was it. Sometimes you got to factor in. It doesn't matter. The guy's still very accurate. You're going to have that. Plus, the record's already broken. It's not like you're going perfect.
Are you okay with him getting the ick out before the playoffs, or are you worried that it's going to translate to game one next week, like Maher missing 5 kicks against San Fran last year?
I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm traumatized, clearly.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. The guy has been pretty on point all season, and I think he's so very calculated. Also, Maher, you see this with veterans where they are more likely to get that ick, where he's still pretty green in that. So I don't think this guy's face. He played MLS, so.
All right, then. Any other notes on the Washington game before we move on to the cheese?
Yeah, just statement. Needed to put a statement, pulled away with it, big win, on the road. It's this time last year we were on the opposite side of that score against them, even though at that point,
It was irrelevant.
It was relevant, but it's still like you want to go into the postseason with a win and definitely not get dominated. But that didn't happen. Like they erased all that, so.
Cool. So, on to Green Bay, a familiar foe. And if anybody knows me, knows Charlie, to this day, we still bring up Dez Caught It like no other. In fact, we were talking before the show, Dez Caught It took place exactly 9 years ago. That is how traumatized I am. And you know what? Do you remember how we used to watch UFC fights at Cutie Pies?
Yeah.
If you looked at their cocktail menu, they had a drink called Dez Caught It, and it was a double shot of Patron. And I was like, that is the perfect way to embody how we feel about Dez Caught It. But these aren't your dad's Green Bay Packers, right? Or should I say they're not your big brother's Green Bay Packers anymore. We're facing off against Jordan Love, a bunch of young rookie wide receivers, a younger defense, a team that was predicted not to do so well in that division. Everyone thought it was going to be Detroit and Minnesota coming out half right. But, this Green Bay Packers team has come on really strong in the second half of the season. They've beaten Kansas City. They beat Detroit. So, they grew up a lot. And so how are you seeing this going down?
Yeah, well, I mean, made a good point. They talk about just the redemption. Like, this was going to be a rebuild year. That's how we looked at it. They ended up finishing 9-8. I mean, they did beat the Lions, Thanksgiving, which that was their first mark of, okay, we got something here.
Who did worse, the Detroit Lions or Jack Harlow that day?
Oh man, it's a double whammy. I mean, I think more people give Jack Harlow the. I don't think that was all. That was just. I mean, that already looked like a discounted halftime show compared to the Dolly Parton halftime show that went on.
Oh, don't get me started on Dolly, but continue.
But yeah, I mean, you know, the big question mark: what's going to happen post Rodgers, and what Love has done and step up to the plate. He's done everything you've asked him to do. They kept red hot when they needed to. I mean, yeah, they lost to the Giants, but I mean, for a team that was counted out day one, they've exceeded their expectations.
Yeah, and I think we touched on this in a previous episode where we said Jordan Love took a whole lot of unnecessary criticism because you're filling the shoes of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
It's not like they built that team for success after Aaron Rodgers left either. I mean, nobody stayed. Like, Randall Cobb left, Alan Lazard left.
Yeah.
Like, you're dealing with young rookie receivers. Christian Watson probably is the best receiver on that team and maybe missed 6 games this season due to injury.
Yeah.
I believe he will be back for the playoff game, though, so that will be something to watch out for. But in a way, if I wasn't playing them against the playoffs, I would say this team really grew up nicely, and in a way, I'm very happy for them.
Yeah, and you know, I think too, this has to give that organization confidence, no matter what the result is this coming weekend, like to be able to have that quick of a turnaround. You know, also, Love can have a little brag in because last year they missed the playoffs.
They did.
You know, it's not like a lot of people had left at that point, so they just were mentally like broken. Like there was things on.
Well, I mean, Aaron
Rodgers didn't
Rodgers
want to
had
be
so
there.
many injuries. He was mad at Matt LaFleur.
Yeah, he didn't want to be there, and it showed in the playing. But this team are playing around, and they are vibing with it.
So what I am nervous about for this game is their run game. I'm not necessarily what's the word? Concerned with their wide receivers.
Yeah.
I think their wide receivers are outstanding, don't get me wrong, but given the hole that the Dallas defense has with the run game, you've got 2 powerful backs in Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. How are you going to compensate for that?
Well, I will say one thing is, and thank God, I mean, Hankins is back. That showed big on Sunday. So we just got to put that pressure. Once again, we need that front four. We always said it, you know. And Tank had a big game too on Sunday.
Tank was outstanding.
So
yes.
I definitely hear that concern, but at the same time, I think just get that pass rush going too. Like get to this younger quarterback, youngish, put that pressure because I'm going to say it, and this is not a knock against the Packers. I mean, this is the playoffs. But this isn't Aaron Rodgers yet. This isn't the boogeyman. But this is a guy who's going to get started, but you should have that veteran experience to get that pressure on him.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like this team is going to go as the defense goes, and thankfully we're playing at home. We score at least 30 points at home.
It's so loud. A lot of teams.
You tell me about the environment at AT&T Stadium. Specifically, tell me about the playoff environment because I know you've been to a lot of playoff games.
It's crazy. I mean, it is very. It is crazy loud, and it's just the energy is just to the next level. I mean, yes, of course we've had some bad luck at games in there, but at the same time, like we've never had really a bad loss there either.
Well, I will say this. We did lose to the Packers in the playoffs there as well. It wasn't the Des Cottick game. It was the one after that.
Yeah, it was Dak's rookie year. It was a very close, very great game by our offense. It was
that one came down to the
34
wire,
to 31. So there were moments where we did let Aaron Rodgers cook.
I hated Jared Cook for years after that for literally no reason. The man did his job. And anytime he popped up on my screen, because he ended up going to I think either the Chargers or the Saints, one of the two. He ended up going there the following year or 2 years after, and every time he popped up on my screen, I was like, "Thank you." I'm not interested in what you have to offer. I avoided him in fantasy drafts. I just hated the man for no reason.
I think that was a little bit of also offensive inexperience too. I mean, you had a rookie Dak. Like I said, they still did well in that aspect, but there was a lot of rookies. There was some inexperience. We're the veteran team here coming in, and so
I agree.
And being at home, and we're 8-0, 16-0 actually.
2 years undefeated at home.
Yeah,
you got to count for something.
Yeah, last loss was Buccaneers 2022 September. After that, on a roll. So, but as we've learned, and not just for Cowboys, just wild card weekends can be crazy, and we can't overlook them.
I agree. Like you said, don't Yeah. What was your cheese metaphor again?
Don't chase the cheese.
Don't chase the cheese.
And we're playing. I got it.
Yeah, I wanted you to say it. I wanted you to say it because
Don't
it
chase the
it comes out better from you than it does with me. With me, it feels like I'm trying
It's
to.
only because I tell cheesy jokes, so that's why. Boom. Drinks to that.
Yeah, maybe
we
I
go.
should make you do a shot for that one.
I'll take one. You don't have to tell me twice.
Turning up on a Tuesday.
Well,
Okay, Charlie
It
Van.
is cold by this window, so. Turn up Tuesday. There you go.
Yeah. So, tell me this. Give me like 2 to 3 keys to victory. What do the Cowboys absolutely have to do to make sure they walk out of AT&T Stadium with a win and on to the divisional round of the playoffs?
They're all obvious, but as everyone's put, just keep Dak CD needs those reps.
Did CD get the Triple Crown or did he fall short?
I don't think he got the Triple Crown.
I feel like we would know if he did.
Yeah, I don't think he got the Triple Crown, but we all know that works. On the offense, that works. I also say I love what I saw with Dowdle. I love what I saw with Dowdle. Keep that running, find that success, and then like you said, stop the run, on the defensive side. So I think those are the 3 things, 2 offensive, and then on defense.
Okay, I'm going to be the nerd here.
Just going to go all stats.
No, I'm not going to go with stats. I'm going to say the most important thing for the Cowboys to do on Sunday, minimize penalties. Penalties will absolutely destroy you in the playoffs, and you don't want to give Jordan Love any kind of advantage. If you're giving him a short field, if you're giving up, offsides, false starts, all of that stuff adds up and matters, and the Green Bay Packers are a very disciplined team that can capitalize on that. And that's the kind of stuff that makes me nervous. And I know this is a really big game for Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
This is him facing off against his former team. This is his moment, So
Even though he says I'm not even going to focus, but it's got to.
No. It's an underlying thing. And when you are fired by somebody, you want to get back at them. You want to show them, hey, look what you're missing. It's like when you go through a breakup, right? You go through that breakup glow up.
Yeah.
You hit the gym. You maybe change your hair. You do all these things to make yourself feel better and make yourself more attractive to people around you. It changes your aura, it changes your energy, and that's exactly what Mike McCarthy did when he signed his contract with the Dallas Cowboys. Here's the moment where you run into your ex at the bar and you show him or her or they that you're still hot shit and that they don't matter. And that is what is going to drive the victory. I think Mike McCarthy has everything lined up in place. The game plan will be almost perfect because it's going to be a big FU to the Green Bay Packers organization.
Yeah, I think too he has to show he has been, and he's won a championship with that same team right there at AT&T.
Again, you can give everything to your ex and you can still not matter.
Well, but then this is where this has been the knock rising to we brought him in to help us get to this moment, and the blueprint.
This is not the moment we brought him in for.
No,
Charlie.
I was about to say.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
This is I'm saying we're on the right path right now. We have the blueprint, right? The last time we had a chance to have back-to-back was 2016. We have not been in this position to have back-to-back playoff. What I'm saying is we brought him to take all the way. But it hasn't been easy the last couple of years because we haven't had that road path. We are the best at-home team. Now you have it. Now you have to come in, use that expertise, use that coaching, use that nerd, use that skill that that resume you have, and show up.
Yep.
Because Jerry Jones talked about it. He don't have time.
He loses this game, he's fired.
Yeah.
Bottom line, Jerry Jones can say right now that
They're
he
all
has
fired.
all the confidence in them in the world, but they lose on Sunday, they're clearing house.
Well, here's the thing. I would also see. I know he's being talked for interviews, Dan Quinn, but I would move on for it because.
Yeah, you read my mind. You absolutely just read my mind.
A loss means, in my opinion, and this is how it was in 2016. The loss comes down to the defense.
I agree, and you saw it almost happen in the Lions game.
Seahawks.
It happened in the Miami game.
Yeah.
Almost happened in the Seahawks game.
Yeah.
That defense has been our Achilles heel for so long.
But they get off the hook so much.
They get off the hook because of it's the whole big picture. How have they been trending this season? And yes, they have been outstanding this season. They were outstanding last season. But it's the same thing I said about Micah Parsons a few weeks ago. In the moments that matter, you show up. And if you don't show up, get the fuck out.
Yeah. Well,
Here we go again. 2 shots in and 3 F-bombs.
that's 3 shots. We don't have no FCC. No, I mean, totally agree. But not just Micah, it's everyone on that defense, I feel.
Well,
too.
I'm just drawing
No,
comparisons.
yeah. And I mean, I think we need all those guys because the offense is definitely pulling the weight, even that, like you said, you went back to the Miami. So, but, no matter what, Mike McCarthy's going to be the fall guy. He's the leader, so.
So, okay, let's hit it. How do we see this going down? I haven't had a chance to look at the line yet, but I'm assuming.
We're by 4.
4.
We're favored by 4. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we cover.
You think we cover?
I do.
Okay. And do you have a shot pick to go with that pick?
Yes, I do. Heck yeah. I am going to go a Micah Parsons sack.
Okay.
And I am going to go a Deron Bland interception.
Oh, look at you taking a risk. You are definitely not playing it safe.
It's playoff time.
Ooh, I'm a fan. I like Risky Charlie. And for those of you who don't know Risky Charlie, you should get to know Risky Charlie.
It's called Wild Card Charlie, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's
People
right.
back-
Wild card. Hashtag wild card.
He can only come out every time.
Oh, I've had many a memory with wild card. Let's. All right. For me, I actually don't think they're going to cover. I think this is a lot closer. I feel like 4 is a good number in terms of like Vegas throwing odds out.
Dak Prescott.
But I really think it's 3 or less, to be perfectly honest. My gut tells me that this game is going to come down to the leg of Brandon Aubrey. And I hate that I say that all the time because that's how I feel. I feel like the playoffs, the ante's upped.
He's the most consistent.
But when you look at a team like Green Bay, I feel like they are a trap game. They are a sneak attack waiting to happen, and they can catch you off guard. I do think Dallas takes the win, but I need to see Dallas grind this out. I don't see them blowing them out. So I'm going to go 2 to 3 point win. I'm going to say Brandon Aubrey clutch field goal.
You're taking my approach usually. Usually I'm the they're not going to cover. They're like a touchdown.
Yeah, I know. We kind of switched
usually
here.
have to
when
do
you
math.
said that,
I usually have to
when
do
you said
math
they're going to
to
cover, that's why I had to be like, wait, did you
I'm
just
going
say
risky.
that?
I'm going. Maybe it's the Jameson. It's the risky whiskey. That's how it goes.
He's wild card at his finest right now. So I'm going to go, Brandon Aubrey is going to have a clutch kick, and then maybe I'll throw an offensive. Tony Pollard will have a touchdown. That'll be a little shocking, right?
I hope so, because, I feel like you could kind of tell him recently how he's hard on himself about the season. And
I think he had a few good runs last week that makes me a little bit more confident. And I think having Rico back in the lineup helps him. So that's it. All right, let's move on. There's a whole big picture playoff situation happening outside of the world of the Cowboys. Wildcard weekend should be interesting with, 6 matchups. So we've already dissected the Cowboys and the Packers. Let's play a game, Charlie.
all right, I like games sometimes.
Sometimes.
Not with my heart.
Oh, Charlie. I would never play with your heart. You're my best friend in the whole world.
That's a Backstreet. I love Backstreet Boys. I'm a Backstreet Boy. Are you Team NSYNC or Backstreet?
I've always been Team NSYNC, and you
All
know
right.
it. Okay, so we got 5 other matchups to pick since we both agreed that the Cowboys are going to win on Sunday. I have a feeling that a lot of these can go both ways, and we can kind of put a bet on the line. So how about we put a little shot? Shot bet.
That's good. That's good.
You know how the shot bet was born? It was born on Charlie's birthday last year.
It was. It makes sense.
Anyway, so I'm going to shoot the games out. We'll make our
Let's
picks,
go.
and let's keep score. And whoever loses does a shot on the show next week. All right, first one, Browns and Texans.
I got the Browns.
Yeah, I do too. Even though the Browns are away, it should be a
Just
good
Joe
one.
Flacco.
Yeah. All right, Dolphins and Chiefs.
Chiefs.
I'm going to go Dolphins for redemption. That game was way too close in England or Germany. Steelers and Bills.
Bills, TJ Watt's out. And I just think the Bills are just rolling right now. And they find a way to win. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you here. Bills are a great team, given what they did to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Steelers eked their way into the playoffs. Mike Tomlinson Tomlin. Wow. Mike Tomlin.
She created a new coach.
I'm thinking about One Direction. You brought up boy bands. I'm
there you
sorry.
go.
I'm a girl.
We're going two
Mike
different
Tomlin,
directions.
best coach ever.
Yes, he
Anyway,
is.
Rams and Lions.
Rams.
I'm going to go Lions with the
Yeah.
upset. I think
Very close, though.
revenge of Jared Goff.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I think a lot of people are rooting for the Lions in general, just like the Browns, like.
Well, we'll get into it. We're going to dissect the Rams and Lions next. And the last one, Eagles and Bucks.
I think the Bucks. I mean,
I know me too, and I feel so shitty saying that.
No, because I mean, also we don't know what I haven't heard the status yet on AJ Brown, like what, and then I know Devontae Smith was out last week along with Darius Slade. How are they going to be?
I'm sorry. It comes down to one thing and one thing only. The Eagles are broken.
They are broken wings.
Broken? Yeah. No, you're not wrong. Shot, but you're not wrong. With AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts struggling with injury, the confidence of that team is shit. And the Bucks completely put a whoop ass on the Panthers last week.
A whoop ass.
Yes, I probably should do a shot for that. Baker Mayfield proving that he is a legit quarterback this season, going for the re-sign with Tampa. I got Tampa.
I'll just give a quick praise to Baker Mayfield. I never thought he was not legit.
Are you gonna pour this or what?
Oh yeah. I was just gonna pour it all for me. That's the Irish in me there.
Irish, you would pour me a shot.
I mean, I'm happy for Baker though. I'm happy he found the team. I hope they get a deal done with him. But yeah. Ooh, there you go.
Went down the wrong pipe.
It happens. No, but
Tanner, you better not cut this and make it slow-mo later.
Eagles definitely, there's something disarray, and it's, and they made history from starting off from being 10-1 to going the way they are now. Like, that's a rarity, so something's broken. But
wait, they made history for being an absolute collapse and shit show?
Well, I'll say this real quick, so we're not rebel, I said this at the beginning, they lost both their coordinators. Like, that's a huge gamble. You usually don't see that unless the head coach is gone. They lost what worked, which is funny because Gannon beat them, defense, and of course us, because, yeah, you have the thumbprint. So they took a gamble, they lost. It's just not working. Bucks.
All right, Bucks for both of us. So the only ones we disagreed on were Rams and Lions and Dolphins and Chiefs. Should be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's the playoffs. Who knows? I mean,
it's never chalk. That much I can tell you.
It's a clean slate. That's how I always feel the playoffs.
Okay, so I alluded to this earlier, but let's talk more about this Rams and Lions matchup.
Yeah.
So, a couple of years ago, Rams go to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff at quarterback.
2019.
Jared Goff can't get the job done. They literally feel like they are a quarterback short of being Super Bowl champions. So what do the Rams do? Sell the house, trade all of their draft picks, bring in Matt Stafford. So from 2019 to 2024, Rams look like they sold the house, kind of floundering, right?
Injuries too as well.
Injuries, Cooper Kupp, big injury last year.
Got rid of Von Miller.
Right, like I said, sold the house.
Yeah.
This year, they draft a guy, Puka Nacua.
Ooh.
Absolute game changer. Fantasy football superhero.
Like,
by the way,
out of nowhere. Like.
Can I know what he does to his hair? Because his hair is beautiful. I need the routine, Puka.
Does he have one of those deals like with Trevor, Pat Mahomes, like and Paul, like those hair, like those? If he does it, he will.
He will soon.
Yeah.
So, Rams redeem themselves in the 2023-2024 season. Sorry.
Miking it up.
Too much Jameson already. Then, in this time for the Lions, they bring in Dan Campbell as coach.
Yeah.
Completely changes the culture of that team. Jared Goff all of a sudden goes from zero to hero, bringing in running backs like David Montgomery, Jamar Gibbs, receivers like Amon-Ra St. Brown. Team takes off and overcomes Green Bay and takes control of the NFC North. So, both teams have been through a struggle, find themselves facing off against each other in quite a revenge game. which
Yeah.
makes it for the perfect primetime game. What's going to happen? Because I feel like this is a very evenly matched game.
Yeah, you see a lot of these in like basketball, right? You see guys who jump teams and having that.
Love a revenge game.
Well, I mean, you had Favre go to Vikings. That was pretty cutthroat. You know, he was with the Jets briefly, but the Vikings, that was the biggest. Man, but if I had to look at who's the better quarterback on that field that day, it's Stafford. I really do believe that. And because Stafford's not a high turnover quarterback. He's a high, like, you're going to get him. You're going to get to him. And that's one thing that defense has to do. But Goff, the one reason why I think they were able to, like, I wouldn't say easily, because Goff still, he took them to a Super Bowl and kept them in the playoffs pretty consistently. But he is turnover. He does make those, and we saw even the Cowboy guy, those little mistakes, you know, controversy aside. He made some mistakes that cost them too, that could have put them. And that's going to be and then Dan Campbell on that side. Love Dan Campbell. Love he throws his chair. I mean, who doesn't want to play with him? But I'm the wild card. He is the wild card. He takes those risks, which cost them in that Cowboys game.
But it was the right move.
It was the right.
You don't have the team that's good at executing, but that was the right call.
But
you go for the win. When you're playing a team like the Cowboys and you have an opportunity to steal a win like that, you go for the win.
But you won't be able to still run for the McVay, when it comes to the coaches on those field, McVay is that calculated. Like, you got to be a little bit better than that as to the rest. Because I think this Rams team right now, I think looks far more better than what I've seen for Lions. You can't drop 2 division games either and make me feel confident I'm going to be on their side.
Here's my thing about the Lions. You said it yourself.
They will get to Matt Stafford.
Yep.
What has Matt Stafford been in the last couple of years? Injury-prone. He messed up his hand against the Cowboys earlier this season, right? He smacked his hand on the helmet, out for the rest of the game. If the Lions pass rush can get to Matt Stafford, that makes a difference. Second, what's your favorite phrase in football?
I'm not going to say because you want me to take a shot.
I will do the shot with you. Say it.
Double side of the ball. No, complimentary.
Correct. The Detroit Lions play really great complementary football.
This is
Like
a
I
fun
said,
Tuesday night.
they have
I
an
mean,
outstanding-
Jesus.
They have an outstanding run game, and it's complemented by that pass attack. And yes, like you said, Jared Goff is turnover prone. But it's the playoffs. Detroit's at home. Dan Campbell can light a fire under anybody's ass.
Oh, I loved. I'll light. He light a fire on my butt right now because the window's cold. Like,
Double shot.
can I throw a monkey wrench? Sam Laporta. We don't know his status. That guy has been the big turning around for this offense. And if he can't go, if he's not 100%, I'm sorry. Like, that's a big, the moment that guy, I mean, I'm kind of jealous because he was right there and we couldn't get it. Dang you, Lions. You know, and so I'm worried about that. He is a big part of that offense. I'm not worried about what the Lions defense, but if Sam Laporta can't go or if he's not nearly what, that's going to affect a lot.
Yeah.
Because that Rams defense doesn't
You're
change
not wrong
either.
about that. But like I said, it's the playoffs.
Yeah, anything can.
Anything can happen.
You ain't lying. Hey, I'm actually team Lions no matter what. Like, I love the story. And, I think, them and the Browns, those are the 2 teams that have had such I remember I was watching just real quick on TikTok. Like, they were showing when it was Matt Stafford and the Browns. They were both 1-8. Like, they've seen some stuff.
That's what I was saying. That's what I gave in the upfront was they have been
Can
through
they
some
tie
real
and
shit.
just do it together? Tag team. They're like the Usos. Or
I was gonna say this is the WWE. Oh my god.
because Dan Campbell throws chairs. Dan Campbell comes in because if Stone Cold Steve Austin was a head coach, it's Dan Campbell. Like,
I agree.
yeah.
I agree.
Because he talks about drinking beer here. Cheers to Dan Campbell, former Cowboy, by the way.
Cheers to Texan native Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah. He's a Cowboys fan.
He is.
But anyways, we both agree it's a good story. Close game?
I hope so.
I think it will be. I think it will be close. I really hope Laporta plays. I mean, I haven't heard. I mean, I'm hoping he's at his best. I want to see teams at their best. You know.
I agree. I hope so too. And there's a reason why they were picked for the primetime game and not us.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, I like a story. I mean, it's a rival. It is like WWE.
Okay. Last thing before we move on from NFL, I know this has been a very NFL heavy episode, but it's the first week of the playoffs.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Okay. Out of the field set. We made Super Bowl picks earlier in the year. One of my teams was already eliminated. So good job, Rhea. Who you got facing off in the grand finale?
The finale, the Golden Globe, the Oscar.
If you will.
Actually, it's the Oscar, not the Golden Globe. We'll get into that later. I mean, if I have to go, I still think the Niners-Ravens rematch. I really do. I mean, anything can happen, which I would love to see, but I think it's the Niners-Ravens.
Charlie.
She's going the Cowboys.
I love you so much. But how often do the playoffs go absolutely chalk?
Are you going straight Oscars right now? You're doing your acting?
Hold on. How often do all 4 number 1 seeds make it in Final Fours? Right? Yes, 49ers and Ravens is the obvious and hashtag blessed choice.
Except for 2018. The Pats were number 1.
Yes, I'm not saying it's not impossible, but it's not likely from a statistical standpoint, as the math person on this podcast.
I have a math disability, so.
I really like the Buffalo Bills.
It could be.
And what's ironic is last year I said that it was going to be 49ers and the Bills in the Super Bowl, and of course I missed. I'm going to stick with the Bills. I think the Bills are picking up the right amount of heat at the right time. And yes, I know they don't have home field advantage, but when you're playing Steelers in the opening round, and the Bills can pretty much beat the Dolphins, Chiefs, Texans, their only tough matchup is going to be the Browns. And I still think they can take the Browns.
Possibly, yeah.
So, on the AFC, I'm going to roll with the Bills. NFC, just to be interesting and a total homer, I'm going to go Cowboys.
Hey, you know what? I'm always the optimist, and I'm not the only way to see that is it's that we got it. Like, hey, if we got in the division round, anything's possible.
I agree. I do think all of these teams are beatable in their own way. I think the 49ers are definitely a challenge, but the 49ers have consistently struggled in the playoffs.
Well, can I say this real quick? With last year, even though we lost, it was a very close game. We got to Brock Purdy. And that's
we were
one thing.
A Tony Pollard leg break away from winning that game.
Yeah, and Brett Maher missed the field goal too. You know, and that's why October. That's why that October was an alley. We've never been blown out by the Niners, and I think the thing is get to the pressure. I think they were in our. There was in the head. We just lost Diggs too.
Whatever the case is, anything can happen in the playoffs.
It's true.
And I'm rolling with Cowboys and Bills.
Can I go one real quick positive? Last year, we did something we haven't done in 30 years. We won an on-road playoff.
We did.
So now it's time for division round.
All right.
Let's
roll. All right. So I'm going to run through this real quick. Yeah, here we go. All right. College football playoff finale. Last night, Washington got beat by the Michigan Wolverines.
In an alternate universe, Reyes, as Washington won.
Reyes had too many shots at Jameson, and I'm really trying hard to keep it together. But, real quick, 20 seconds or less, give me what you saw last night.
Well, I'm going to be like a Family Guy episode. Michigan dominated. It was, pretty much like that. I mean, I think we won in Washington. I think a lot, just especially with that we said last week.
Charlie, where's your joke about Houston?
Okay, Houston friends are going to kill me, but cheaters going to cheat in Cheating Town. So, hey, you know what? You do what you get. Hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But it's not like the players cheated. But, regardless of that, I'll say hats off to Jim Harbaugh because it's been a tough 9 years leaving the NFL, and there were a lot of struggles with that Michigan team. So to cap off, I did think it was great seeing John there and surprising it.
That was such a cute video.
Yeah, and Blake Corum, great game, future Cowboy probably. No, actually he's on a lot of I've seen media people's mock drafts. I'd love to have Blake Corum if you can. But I mean, where does Michael Penix shoot? That's the big. That's all the spotlight.
So I'm going to hit this real quick. I went into this game thinking Michael Penix Jr. was essentially a college football god. And he showed weaknesses against Michigan. And granted, the man took a lot of hits. That Michigan defense is on a completely different level than anything he saw in the Pac-12. RIP, Pac-12. But
Pour one out, not on this carpet.
Not on this carpet. I'm only here so I don't get fined. But yeah, I feel like Michael Penix Jr. will have a good career in the NFL. He's just not going to go as high as everybody projected to him. And honestly, I think they put a lot of pressure on him going into that game. So it's completely unfair.
Yeah, I don't think these national championships like shape, or even these bowls shape how these athletes are going to do. They're going to go into great veteran experience systems. I mean, I don't know where he'll fall, what team. I mean, he's either going to start right away or he's going to have great experience.
There's a lot of openings.
There is. I mean, I saw one mock Atlanta. I think he could start right away. He's got, so it's just one of those times, and it probably was Michigan's time. Let's be honest. I think we just were here just because kind of the controversy and the feel-good story too.
If they hadn't played in Houston, do you think Michigan still would have won?
Probably.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
For the record, I grew up in Houston. I'm allowed to talk shit.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I just think, you're going up against Jim Harbaugh. I mean, the guy was in the freaking NFL, took a team to the Super Bowl. So his calculations are going to be really.
Well, we'll talk coaching carousel probably either next week or the week after. We'll do it further down the line.
It's going to get fun.
But it'll be interesting. Okay, so in more local news, Mavs and Stars had a couple games this past week since we last spoke. The big headline here is 2 dominant wins against both Minnesota teams. How crazy is that? Stars beat the Wild. I believe it was 4-0.
Yeah, it was shut out.
And then the Mavs took...
How wild is that?
Shot. And then the Mavs took a win against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are the number 1 team in the West. There's a lot of questions surrounding if the Mavs can actually contend. But this win against the Timberwolves really showed when you have Luka at full strength, Kyrie at full strength, anything can happen. One thing I want to touch on before we move on to the other stuff is Pascal Siakam. Rumors are still alive and well. I said it last week, would love to have him on this team, talking about getting rid of possibly Tim Hardaway Jr., who was actually my favorite player. But if it means that we get to go deeper in the playoffs, maybe another Western Conference final appearance or possibly a final appearance, I will take it. And
Mavs aren't strangers to making big package moves. They did last year with Dodo, Dinwiddie, and Mark Cuban, especially now, you got new ownership coming in, do what you can. Do what you can to set this team. Because it's a very competitive league, and the West is very competitive. It is, and I think a lot of eyes are on this Mavs team. First of all, I love Kyrie's, how happy he is with Luka and that. Yeah, I do He's happy to be here, and I felt like that was going to be the same. If both those guys are healthy on that court, added a guy like Siakam to life. If I live in a universe where Luka and Kyrie are dropping at least 30 every game, I'm in heaven. But also, I love the other Friday night. Kyrie was having fun on the court, obviously, and Lively's not even on there, and he's being that court leader. And I said it, I was like, he's in his moment here too, because he could be that guy. He has this moment to take over and lead, and then he could co-lead, co-parent with Luka, and that's it. But adding that one guy like Siakam, that's a championship team right there. Well, TBD. Yes. Trade deadline is around the All-Star game, which is in February, so we have plenty of time to shoot around rumors, possible trade machines. That was a punch. You got to take a shot or a drink. Yeah. Well, I'm out of beer, so. Well, you got to take a shot. I'll give you a shot. Oh my gosh, Tanner's like, no more shots for Rhea. He runs and go gets a beer. There you go. I'll do the beer and the shot eventually, I promise. Yes. Oh, Tanner's going to do my shot. Tanner's going to do the shot for the blood. Tanner said no. He's like, I'm a professional. He is a professional. Okay. So, plenty of time to dive into the Stars and the Mavs over the course of, the next couple months as we heat up to both trade deadlines. But there was a lot of UFC news dropped this week. I'm going to let you take this one because I saw it, but you are the MMA Rambler. Well, show. I do have an MMA Ramble podcast. I won't ramble. Just because it was big news for, UFC 299 in Miami. By the way, tickets are so expensive. Right, I was
Good.
actually thinking about like going, then I realized like, whoa, it's high, but obviously Miami's. So the new co-main event for UFC Miami is Dustin Poirier
I love him.
taking on, and some people are like, who's this guy? But this guy's dangerous. Benoit St. Denis. This guy's he's been on a stoppage fest. He called out a couple months ago. I think it might have been October or September. Called out Dustin Poirier because this is a guy who can stand in the pocket, but really strong grappler too. I like it. I like that Dustin's willing to get in there because I think there's that super fight Dustin, but there's also he still believes he could be in the title mix.
Well, I think. Yeah, Dustin does believe he could be in the title mix, but the thing that I love about him, other than him looking like Channing Tatum, is he is going to stand and bang against anybody. He lives to fight. He doesn't fight to live, he lives to fight. He is so passionate about this sport. He doesn't really care who he's going up against. Yes, a paycheck is involved, but the matchups he takes, and he takes things at the last minute, he is a true fighter. This is why I'm such a big fan of his. Also, I met him in Tampa once. Super nice guy.
I love Dustin. I followed him since 2009 in the WEC, and to see him as this skinny.
What's the WEC, babe?
World Extreme Cage Fight. And by the way, that was the only organization that really featured at a high level 145, 135. Uriah Faber. Comes out of Lafayette, Louisiana. If I always say this,
Have you tried his hot sauce?
I need to. Now that I'm more into the spice.
Okay, adding it,
Yes.
$2.99, UFC $2.99. We will get some of Dustin Poirier's
We'll do
hot
shots
sauce.
of his hot sauce.
No, we are not going to do shots of his hot sauce, but we will try his hot sauce. Taylor's making me do shots of hot sauce. Damn
I will
it.
say this real quick. Dustin, if there was no Habib that year, he wins the title. He's the full champion. And Dustin is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so this Benoit. Well, you can say Benoit. It's Benoit St. Denis, and the guy is scrappy. This is his big moment, but he's never taken on a guy like Dustin Poirier, who's fought Habib, who's fought Gaethje twice, who's fought Max Holloway, who's one of the best featherweights of all time. It's a big stage. I'm excited.
Honestly, I will say, the first quarter of pay-per-views, I am stoked for. So
it's crazy.
So we'll do all the UFC analysis the week of the 20th.
And your favorite fighter's headline in that fight, Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Oh my God, the amount of hate texts I get about Sugar Sean, because I hate Sugar Sean. Everyone's so mad at me. But anyway, all right. Anything else in the MMA world we need to know about?
I think 300 is still kind of pending right now. There's not a real main event that's been announced, so we'll see what happens. I think I know what's going to possibly happen, but it's not what you think.
I think, Charlie, we should give the people what they want and tease a UFC fighter appearance in the next couple weeks. What do you think?
I think so.
I think we can
Let's
get one.
I think we might be able to make that call.
I think I got a couple lined up.
I think I got a couple.
All right, we'll talk in February.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's going to be really fun, next week we're going to actually be on the road. We're going to be at Bryan Street
Roadshow.
and we're going to have some special guests, good friends of the show, good friends of ours. Kristen and Joelle are going to join us. They are big-time sports fans. They play fantasy football with me. We do pick'em football. We look at spreads, odds. We went to the Frisco Bowl together. So they're going to be a really great addition to the show because next week we're going to focus on pop culture and sports and how it intersects, as well as breaking down the playoff games and what's coming next.
Ryan mentioned sports, but also how I've bonded with them is they're big music junkies, big film buffs too. Saw them at Dallas Film Festival, so this is a power couple.
Yeah, they are absolute power couple. We are obsessed with them.
You know how there's opposites attract? Are they that? I mean, there might be some, but not as far as interest. My mom ain't going to the Cowboy game. Actually, I'm just going to say this real quick, not calling my dad. Love my dad. 40th anniversary this coming Sunday, actually.
Oh my God.
Yes. So where's my dad going to be? My dad's going to be at the Cowboy game, but they're having their anniversary party. But they seem to have a lot of good things. So I'm interested to dive into that
Yeah, so
relationship.
ahead of the pop culture sports intersection episode that we're doing next week, talk to me about the Golden Globes, because there were some situations that went down that don't have to do with trophies and fancy awards that I'd really like to address.
But they do have to, right now, relevancy deal with NFL and entertainment. So Joe Coy, who's one of my favorite comedians, he got asked on, by the way, 10 days notice to do this. This is a huge show.
I didn't realize it was 10 days
10 days
I
notice.
felt like it was super last minute,
No.
but I didn't know it was
10 days
What
notice.
is he doing? Taking on a title fight in the UFC?
Hey, you know what though? Joe Coy is like he's been in the comedy scene for a long time, but really have gone more viral. And so, you know, they've had laws where they haven't had hosts, where they've had Jimmy Kimmel, well, you know, people in the network. So asking a stand-up comedian on 10 days notice to be like, hey, you're gonna come out here and you gotta deliver. And of course, what's the hot topic between sports and music? Your girl.
Let me think. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
So I'm gonna read the joke. I don't think this is a bad joke at all, but I can see how it went flat. Also probably overused. So I'm gonna say that.
All right, read the joke.
So the joke is, this is what he said: the big difference between the Golden Globes and the NFL. On the Golden Globes, we have few camera shots of Taylor Swift. If he said adding, I swear this is just more to go. So that fell flat. Taylor did a little sipping. I mean, it is true. I mean, she's not an
Wait,
actress.
that's what you were worried about with Taylor Swift?
Oh, I didn't worry about anything. This is what made Taylor.
No. The big story about the Golden Globes with Taylor Swift was the fact that Selena Gomez leaned in, whispered some stuff in her ear, and Taylor took a sip of her wine
that wasn't
with
that.
some major side-eye.
So I saw that. It's because the whole Timothy Chalamet and Kylie Jenner. Apparently, I think that was made up. That like Selena went over to get a picture with Timothy Chalamet, and Kylie's like, no, that was. But I mean, headlines are gonna headlines. I don't think Taylor, but I do think that's how, like, we always know before the NFL how big Taylor is. But like the fact that the two worlds combined, would you ever thought as a sports fan?
Oh, man, I honestly should have listened to Taylor Swift lyrics more often, because in a way she predicted this for herself.
Yeah.
The way she talked about football players and gamers and stuff like that in her earlier albums kind of foreshadowed her future, which is a little scary, honestly.
Did you ever think that she would, her father's an Eagles fan and she would date a Chief?
So what's really hilarious to me is, so my fiance and I love shopping for sports related gear. We're both decked out head to toe in our teams all the time. It's the one of the reasons I fell in love with him. And so every Saturday or Sunday we go to the mall, and we go to like Dick's, we go to Lids, we go to all the different sports stores. And every time we go, I'm able to find some sort of Travis Kelce merchandise that has Taylor Swift involved. Like I went to Lids, and there's a dad hat that has the number 87 with a heart on the side, and in the front, I forgot what it said, oh my God, but it was like a Taylor Swift quote. And then there was like a Kansas City colored t-shirt that said, going straight home to the Chiefs or something. Like, it is crazy how she has made the NFL bigger than it already is. The fact that she has brought in an entirely new audience into something that was already the leading sport in America just shows you how big of a superstar she is.
And that just shows you how Carrie Underwood and Jessica are like, man, we tried. It's because we dated Dallas Cowboys.
You can also put Haley Steinfeld in that column.
She's been quiet. That's been a good thing.
No, so I actually watched her at the Golden Globes, ironically, and people were trying to get her to talk about Josh Allen, and she did such a great job of like mitigating all of it until someone came up to her in a Stephon Diggs jersey and was like, well, hey, what did you think about the game tonight? And she was like, great game. And then she started walking away. Then she turned back and she goes, by the way, that's the wrong number. And kept walking, and I was like, Haley, well done.
You know why? Because she's like, my man's winning. Boom.
Yeah, when you're winning, there are no problems. But
She's
when
also a Marvel superhero.
She is a Marvel superhero, but what I was going to say is when they're winning, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
But when they're having their statistically worst season,
Distraction.
it's a distraction.
Yeah.
But we'll get more into that next week when we have Kristen and Joelle, and we'll dive into all of that, all of the trauma, drama, you name it. We'll talk about it. Again, we'll be at Ryan Street Tavern. Would love for you guys to stop by, have a drink with us, talk pop culture, talk sports, whatever it is. But I'm excited. We're going to be on
I'm
the road.
excited. Shout out to Bryan Street Tavern. Great spot. Can't wait to be there.
I was going to
Talk some
say,
sport.
we're going to be on the road for 2 straight weeks. We're going to be at Bryan Street Tavern next weekend, or not weekend, next week on the 16th, next Tuesday.
Yes.
And then the following Monday, we will be at Harwood Tavern.
Harwood Tavern. We're going to be at all the taverns. We're coming to you.
So, you know, we're hanging out, we're having a drink. Come drink with us.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week.
See ya. Go Cowboys.